Very good evening to all my viewers. It is right now Monday, February 13th, 2023. It's exactly 5:55 p.m. and we are once again here in Old Montreal, where we're going to do another walking video tonight. This time we're going to focus on the eastern part of Old Montreal. Last time I did a walking video here, it was down there towards the western part of Old Montreal, more or less. And just so you know, we are facing towards the south right now. This way here would be facing east. This here would be facing north, and this way here would be facing west. So I always like, when I start a walking video to, update my viewers on the orientation, the compass, just so you have an idea of where we are. Sometimes it can be appreciated when you're doing a walking video, kind of adds to the context of where we are. So we'll begin our walking video. Once again, we're here in Old Montreal. This is, of course, Quebec, Canada. And we're going to start walking this way first before we head eastbound. So we're going to walk here. And this is the Notre-Dame Basilica of Montreal. This was built between, I think it was 1823 and 1829. Very beautiful piece of architecture. And I filmed this a few times. You're actually able to go inside, but the problem is you have to pay to go in. It's not like St. Joseph's Oratory, which is another beautiful church here in Montreal, near Mount Royal, sort of west of here. There you can go in for free and wander around. Here you have to pay to get in, and sometimes they have shows and light shows and all that kind of stuff. But I would really appreciate it if they opened it up, because inside it is spectacular. It is a beautiful piece of architecture that they put together. So yeah, this opened up, like I said, around 1829, 1830, around there. And looks like they're doing some work on it. So very beautiful architecture. And of course, it's a Roman Catholic church because, well, Montreal and Quebec was founded by the Roman Catholic Church. It was a colony of France hundreds of years ago. And there, we're going to take a look there at those nice little lights. And yeah, we're gonna walk, like I said, eastbound tonight. Change it up a bit compared to last time. I may be overlapping some of the walking I did in my last video, but we're gonna be walking further east than last time. I'll also mention that, yeah, I don't have my gimbal with me tonight. I just finished work, and it was a nice night. Decided to come out. I think right now it's about 0 degrees Celsius again, maybe around that, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. The old port of Montreal, by the way, is down there towards the south. I may or may not walk by the old port later, we'll see. But in any case, enjoy the video, and I'll probably put this up either as a Wednesday walk video that I do every Wednesday, or as it's maybe the case, sometimes I do a walking video on a separate day. Not necessarily a Wednesday. Here's a very old building right here, one of the oldest buildings in Montreal. And if you're interested, well, the All-Night Festival is coming up this weekend. What are we today? So we're the 13th. Actually, no, next weekend. It's going to be next Friday, I think the 25th into the 26th, that we're going to have the Metro open all night long here in Montreal. So if you're a transit fan, definitely check it out. This store here is really impressive. This is a Christmas store that's open all year round. So if you're a fan of Christmas and you can't wait till December 25th or the holidays, well, guess what? You can come here in the middle of summer if you want. I've actually been in here. They used to be located further west, but they moved here, I guess a bigger location. Very beautiful store. And you'll notice these buildings are very old. That's because, well, they don't call it Old Montreal for nothing. This is the original part of Montreal when they founded the city. And you'll notice some of the roads are in their original condition. Cobblestone roads. There's a lot of tourist shops here. Some of them are definitely overpriced. You also have to watch out. Sometimes there's some fake things in there, fake products. A lot of times they're overpriced. So just a heads up, if you visit Montreal, just be careful. A lot of the stuff, not everything, but some stuff you find in these souvenir shops, you can actually find in regular dollar stores for much cheaper. I think Dollarama actually has a section of Canada and Quebec souvenir stuff. Well, specifically around Canada Day. And the Quebec stuff is Saint Jean Baptiste Day. So Saint Jean Baptiste is the Quebec holiday here in Quebec. It's, I think, the end of June. And Canada Day is July 1st, which is the week after. And that's the Canadian national holiday of the country. Look at that, we got a couche-tard here. Good old couche-tard. Always a couche-tard around. One of my fellow YouTubers that I know, Jack, St. Anne de Bellevue, Base Guy Show, always says the couche-tard is always looking out for you. And the couche-tard has so many locations. They're a multinational company. If you live in the English part of the world, they're known as Circle K. Here's the Montreal Courthouse right here. This is Saint Laurent Boulevard. And the old port's down there. And Saint Laurent Boulevard used to be known, still is known as the Main, but this was literally the main street in Montreal about 100 or so years ago. But yeah, I'd say about 100 or so years ago. Now there's still a lot of businesses, but you know, the 1900s and you know, maybe the 1960s, 70s, Saint Laurent Boulevard was the go-to place. And there was a lot of history on the street, especially further down, further north. Very big history here in terms of the Jewish population. A lot of Jewish history on this street, mainly when you get past, I'd say where Mont Royal is, further up there. And unfortunately, a lot of businesses recently closed the last few years on Saint Laurent Boulevard. Old businesses that were there for quite a while. So I guess they just moved on. Maybe the rent got too expensive. Of course, there's Montreal's famous for their smoked meat, Schwartz. And you know, I went to Schwartz once, which wasn't bad. This is about maybe 10 years ago or so. But I'll tell you, was okay. But from what I've heard, I'll tell you, people have said it's not like it used to be. And I went through different owners over the years. There's an old-fashioned camera there. So, you know, I do like smoked meat. But, you know, I hate, like everything else that's overpriced. I don't really appreciate it, but it is what it is. But Schwartz is, or at least used to be, a very famous landmark in Montreal. I'm actually going to do a walk on Saint Laurent Boulevard one day in that sector. It's actually a good idea for a walking video because, like I said, there's a lot of history in that section. So, oh, I hear a fire response, and I was just at Fire Station 20 as well, right down the street earlier. I was actually waiting for a response, and I decided, you know, I'm not going to wait too long, and decided I'd do a walking video. So, well, looks like I would say I lost the gamble, but hey, I'm still doing a walking video. But I missed a response, but there's plenty of chances for responses in the future. All right, so here we are slowly approaching another famous building, the City Hall, Hotel de Ville, as they call it in French, coming up here. But first I want to show you, look at this. Look at the size of this. This is huge. Spectacular architecture. Let's go up and check. I want to show you how large this building is. I'm not sure what it is, but man, this thing is huge. Look at this. What an ornate building. And this is just the entrance. Look how huge these doors are. I think this is a courthouse of some sort, because look, they have the scales there of justice. But yeah, look at this. Doors are massive. Reminds me of St. Joseph's Oratory. Really huge. So I don't know, maybe I'll use that as a thumbnail for my video, my walking video, who knows. All right, so now we're gonna go continue our trek east, and we're gonna slowly make our way to Hotel de Ville, which translates to City Hall here in Montreal. Now you'll notice, by the way, I didn't mention the street that we're on. Usually I mention the street. The street that we're walking on right now is, well, Notre-Dame East. Notre-Dame East. And this cross street here is Saint Vincent, or Saint Vincent. Saint Vincent if you want to say it in French. And what we're going to do is we're going to make our way to the main square of Old Montreal, because I didn't cover that in my last video. We're going to see a lot of things coming up here, landmarks. So here's another building, another courthouse, I think. You'll notice, look at these cool doors. Man, if you love architecture, this is the place to walk. And if you like history, like I do, also the place to walk. Look at this old stone, 100-year-old buildings. Really, really cool. Do we have a date here? It says it's around, it was built around the 1800s. So that tells you how old these buildings are. Impressive. And this coming up here is City Hall, Hotel de Ville, where our mayor is, and our council, city council for the city of Montreal. And for you transit fans, here's a little bonus. This is the STM Montreal City Bus 715 route, which does the old port, Old Montreal, and that sort of area. Nova Bus is that one, LFS. And here we are. This is the main square of Old Montreal. I think it's Bon Secours Square. We're going to go down there in a moment. I just want to show you something here. Can't see it, but usually this is illuminated. They're doing some kind of renovations here yet again. I remember they just did this. Well, time flies. It was in 2008, I remember. So it's not that recent, but always something going on, some kind of construction. And it fits the theme of the city. Montreal is known for construction. By the way, up there is the City of Montreal flag. That one right there. There's the Quebec flag, the provincial flag, and there's Canada's flag, the Canadian national flag, the maple leaf. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to walk down here. This here is Nelson, Horatio Nelson, which was, I think, a French sailor from the French Navy. So we're going to walk downhill for a bit, and we're going to see some really cool architecture along the way. And we're going to see as well some interesting landmarks. So it's not too cold, and you know what, I'm getting my exercise, I'm getting my steps in. I always try to do 10,000 steps a day minimum, at least, well, minimum 8,000. Optimally, you know, I want to go for 10,000. So 8,000 minimum, 10,000 is what I'm hoping for, and anything above 10,000 is even better. So yeah, here we are. We're gonna walk downhill for a bit here. By the way, there's a view facing towards the north once again. I mentioned before, you know, if you're in Montreal and Quebec in general, you'll notice a lot of things are named Saint Laurent, Saint Viateur, Saint Laurent, you know, whatever, Saint Hilaire, Saint Charles, Saint Jean. Well, that's because, like I said earlier in the video, Montreal and Quebec was founded by the Catholic Church, more or less, from France. So there's a very high tendency to have religious annotations and names attributed to streets and squares and parks and metro stations and you name it. So Saint is a very common prefix, a very common part of names here in Quebec. You'll see it in other parts of Canada, other parts of the US, other parts of the world, but Quebec has quite a bit of that here. So, all right, now we are on. This is another street that we're going to be checking out. I think I did a walking video down there a while ago. So now we're going to be checking out this direction. So now we're heading east once again. And this is St. Paul, once again, another saint. St. Paul East. And you can tell, as we do this walking video, just how old these buildings are. We're coming up to a really big one in a moment. Maybe we'll, just maybe go inside. And that's the Marché Bon Secours, the Bon Secours Market, this one coming up here. It's a beautiful building. They have shops and stores in there. Maybe, yeah, we'll go in, why not? And I'll give you a little view. There is big Ferris wheel here in Montreal on the old port. That is the old port of Montreal, by the way, right there, which I did a walking video of as well. One of my previous walking videos, you can see it on my channel. Came here during the day, did a nice walking video for about an hour or more. They have this sectioned off because look, there's ice falling off of the facade here of the buildings. So, yep, that's pretty much that. You'll notice it's on a hill here, and this is what I was talking about. These are cobblestone streets. Why are they cobblestone? Well, it used to be horse and carriages before the automobile, before gas or electric vehicles. It was horses, and this is how they gripped the ground. And in fact, up until recently, you could still see the horses here. In terms of, at least as a tourist attraction, you could ride the horse and carriage, but they got rid of it because they were saying it was too much on the horses, especially in the really hot days. I can't remember if they were out in the winter. I don't think they were, but in the summer, when it's 30 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Celsius with the humidex, the humidity, the moisture, it's not pleasant, for the horses to be walking around in that all day. So they basically outlawed it. It was an animal rights thing. And, as much as I appreciate the cultural aspect of those horse and carriages, as an animal rights supporter, I think it was the right decision. So we're going to go in here briefly, but we'll take the main door. And if I sound congested still, that's because I'm still at the tail end of a cold that I have. Small cold. So we're going to keep walking east, and probably eventually we're going to make our way to Champ de Mars Metro Station, which is on the orange line. So we'll go through the main door here, and what I'll probably do is we'll go in the main door and then we'll go out the other side. I'll show you a metro vent, a ventilation shaft that connects to the yellow line, the yellow line of the Montreal Metro. It's a very little known vent, and it's basically between the station Berry-UQAM and Jean Drapeau Station. So we're going to go in for a little walk very briefly, but we'll see it anyways. Here's another example of old doors, huge old doors. Notice there's a common theme here. So it says here, if you want to pause the video and read the history, so this was actually a parliament building at one time. Look, briefly the Parliament of United Canadas in 1849. No wonder it has that sort of look to it. So this was built from 1844 until 1860. Another old building. We're going to go in. This door is locked, and usually that's the case. This one's locked too, as you can see. This one may be opened. Nope, looks like it's closed. So that's not happening tonight. I've seen people leaving but not going in. Well, another day we'll do it. No major loss. But basically it's just stores, it's shops, probably overpriced gimmicks, art, big problem we have in Canada, and it's been brought to attention lately. It's called cultural appropriation. So basically, if you're not familiar with Canada's history, before the Europeans came, before the people from France and the colonialists and whatnot, eventually people from England, yada yada. Well, this was all natives here, Aboriginals, people that were here before any of the Europeans ever stepped foot here. But what happened, of course, is, well, the Europeans came, and basically it was not a good part of history for Canada. And I'm not afraid to admit this. There's a shameful part of Canadian history, what the Europeans did to the natives. Basically tried to wipe them out, tried to assimilate them. Of course, you have the residential schools where they put kids, Aboriginal kids, First Nations kids, into schools to try to convert them to Christianity and whatnot. There's a big part of history of that. So what I'm getting at is, nowadays you have artists that are claiming to, you go in there, you're going to see, even in here, I don't know if it's still there, but there's art shops where there's artwork by the First Nations, modern day First Nations. And a lot of times they're not even made by the First Nations. They're not made by the Aboriginals, the natives. They're actually made by people that aren't native, but they either claim that they're native or they just sell them anyway, basically exploiting the natives' culture, the culture of the natives and the First Nations. And that's just one example of cultural appropriation. There's also people, for example, that maybe sell Chinese artwork who aren't Chinese, Japanese artwork or whatever. There's all kinds of examples of that. It's not just art, it could be music. There's nothing wrong with admiring another culture, but definitely don't claim to be part of that culture. That's another thing that's been going on. A lot of people have been caught recently claiming that they're native or First Nations, and they're not, and they're getting called out on that, rightfully so. It's okay to appreciate a culture and kind of experience it and enjoy it, but definitely don't try to copy their work to make a profit out of it. Anyway, I just had to mention that. It's important to bring up. But anyways, this here is one of my favorite buildings in Montreal. This here is the Bon Secours Chapel. Let me tell you, it is beautiful in here. Very old. They have old wooden staircases, and you can go right into the bowels of the building, where the staircases are. There's a crypt underground where they have tombs of old, I guess it was nuns and priests, I believe. And my favorite feature of all is actually going up. We're gonna walk here. I never seen this part on the outside. You can actually walk and go up there where the top is, and there's an observatory. In fact, that's where one of my profile pictures was taken. Right there, there's a heart with a flame going through it. That's where I took one of the pictures of one of my old profile pictures. But man, let me tell you, this church is beautiful. Now the thing is, just like the one we saw earlier, you have to pay to go in, unfortunately. But they have one day a year. It's called Museum Day. At least until recently they had it, where you can actually go around to all the museums, not just museums, but cultural buildings like this, an old church like that, at least some of them, where you usually have to pay. You can go in for free. And I take advantage of that. They haven't done it the last couple of years because of the pandemic, but I'll tell you, if you ever have the chance to take advantage of that free museum day, definitely do it. So now we're walking again eastbound. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you guys that Metro event briefly. Yeah, let's go back down, then we'll swing back. We'll turn this way left and head north again, and we'll wrap it up at Champ de Mars Metro. Where we started was pretty much around Place d'Armes Metro. Alright, so we're going to go down here and we're going to see this Metro event, which is on the yellow line between Barrie-UQAM Metro and Jean-Drapeau Metro. And while we're here, we can also see a quick look at the old port of Montreal. And in fact, we're going to see the clock tower from here in a moment, because we might as well stay on this street and then go back. Where's that Metro event? Oh yeah, it's down here. So we're going to briefly go west. This is for transit fans, Metro fans. You know, that's the thing when I'm doing videos. I like to, you know, appeal to everyone. I know there's different viewers out there that are into, you know, some are into art, some are into nature, some are into architecture, some are into vehicles, some are into transit, some are into emergency responses. I always like to try to mix it up, you know, to kind of appease everybody. So there's the Grand Wheel of Old Montreal, the Grand Ferris Wheel, which I eventually might go on, but I think it's like $40 a ticket, so not anytime soon. Is that 787 up there, I think. Dreamliner. Coming in the land. Airport's west of here. Yeah, so here's the other side of that chapel. And right here, you can walk as well. There's like a little observatory before the bigger one. Alright, so here's the Metro event coming up. We're going to get to see it. So this again is a Metro event for the Yellow Line between Berry-UQAM and Jean-Drapeau Station, which is down there. See where that big ball is that's lit up? That's Jean-Drapeau, Parc Jean-Drapeau. I did a video on that building, Biosphere. That's where the Metro station is, right around there. So here's the Metro event. Right here. And you can smell the Metro. Yeah, that's right there. So, you know, I was always thinking, when they built the Yellow Line, they should have put a Metro stop here maybe. In between Berry-UQAM and Jean-Drapeau. Maybe put it here. One stop for the old port. Instead of having to walk. You know, not necessarily a problem for me, but, you know, for people with reduced mobility. Especially on a cold night. Or winter, or a really hot day, you know, to have to go all the way from where we started the video to here could be a bit of a challenge. But by the way, that's what it looks like inside the main church area. Very beautiful. And they have a beautiful pipe organ. If you like pipe organ music like me, classical music, well, check it out, man. All right, so we're 27 minutes in. Look at this here. I want to show you this. This here is the Troyes staircase. I didn't know we could see it from out here. I'm so happy I get to see this and show you guys. Look at this. So this is the Troyes staircase. So this is part of the staircase from the family home of Margaret Bourgeois, founder of the Notre-Dame Basilica chapel. This is where we are. And first teacher of Montreal. Yeah, so basically, yeah, it's a very historical staircase this here. Can you imagine the history of this? Wow, look at that. It's basically to invite you inside, but you can see it from the outside. Yeah, so back in the day, I was mentioning this was a colony. That's what Quebec developed from. A colony from France, which used to be known as New France. The colony here was known as New France. Basically, the nuns, which were associated with the church, they used to teach the students. They were in charge of the schooling and whatnot, the education of the colony. So that's what that's about. All right, so we're going to continue walking east. I predict this video is going to go about 45 minutes, so hey, nothing wrong with that. This Wednesday, I'll be doing my walking video of St. Anne de Bellevue, which I'm going to post. It's already posted, it just has to be published. I'll do it as a premiere 2 nights from now on the 15th. Yeah, we're going to see the clock tower here, the old port coming up. And it's getting a little colder, probably because we're near the old port, near the water. which you can't really see because it's behind that clock tower. And yeah, then we're gonna go up the street, which is Barrie. Yes, Barrie, just as it's like Barrie-UQAM Metro station. Actually, it's connected to this street. Yeah, there's the clock tower right there. I do have videos of me climbing that, and I'll do it again in the summer if it's open. It should be. Okay, but what we're gonna do is, instead of going up Barrie, we're gonna go up this hill, and we're gonna deviate a bit because, like I said, I want to take you to Champ de Mars station. This is on the orange line, and that's where we'll wrap up our video for the night. What are we? It's 6:27 p.m. So a lot of hills, as you can notice, here in Old Montreal. Very hilly area, which is good for exercise. I enjoy it. I definitely like climbing these hills, especially you know, if you're sitting down all day for whatever reason. So we're back at St. Paul, but we're not turning here. We're going to continue walking north here, up the hill. Yeah, it's still congested a bit. Another old building here. And we're going to be going back to Notre-Dame Street. But again, continuing north. I don't know what's in here. Must be an art gallery. I don't recall ever going in here. Alright, just readjusted myself, so we're going to go down here, across here, and there's the old Molson brewery building. That was the beer factory for Molson. They closed it down. Now it's in the South Shore, which is, well, south of here. By the way, that's the Casino in Montreal, that big building there. Part of Expo 67, preserved the building. And behind there is the Jacques Cartier Bridge, by the way, which I'll do another walk there eventually. It's one of my options for my next choice of walking videos. Oh, they're building a hotel here, another hotel. There's another old building coming up. You can see the shadow of it, the silhouette of it. And we're going back downhill once again. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to turn left on this next street, which is called, you guessed it, Champ de Mars. Which, by the way, Champ de Mars means Field of Mars, and Mars is known as the god of war. So basically it translates to battlefield, more or less, if you want to translate it roughly. That's another example of what I was mentioning earlier about different names and stuff in Montreal. Names of things, names of buildings. There's always a theme or something to it. Alright, so now we're walking west again. There's some random apartment buildings. So we're going to make our way to, like I said, Champ de Mars Metro station. Look at this beautiful architecture here. Isn't this something else? Really cool. There's even a garden up there. So hopefully you're enjoying this walking video. As I always say, you know, if you like what you see, hit like, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell. You know, we're getting closer to spring, getting closer to summer. I heard this week we're getting an extra 3 days. No, sorry. Yeah, each day this week we're getting an extra 3 hours of sunlight per day. So we are getting closer to springtime. Slowly but surely. We are getting closer to spring. Alright, so I'm going to continue walking for a little bit more, and we'll stay on this street, not this block but the next block. We're going to turn right and we're going to head north again, and we'll be very close to Place d'Armes Metro Station. Well, sorry, Champ de Mars Metro Station. Place d'Armes would be the station west of this on the orange line. Alright, so we'll continue walking here. Cross carefully. Not a pedestrian friendly corner, that's for sure. We'll cross here actually because we're going this way. Good news is, slowly but surely, the city is becoming more pedestrian and cyclist friendly. Very slowly and very surely. Alright, so where we are right now, you can see these are more modern buildings. There's a sign mentioning Hotel de Ville. And another example here of a building that's a sidewalk that's cordoned off because of falling ice and snow. If you actually look up, you can see an example of why it's dangerous. There's a piece there that's precariously hanging off the edge, ready to fall any second. That'd be cool to film. Just got to get out of the way fast. What is this? Oh, this is another courthouse or something, or I think this is a municipal city court. All kinds of stuff down there. Old basement files and stuff. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, this is an old building. Another old building. Yeah, so here's another view. We're back to City Hall, Hotel de Ville, but this time we're at the north side of it, facing south, more or less. I mean, south is that way. We're facing west, but this is the north side of it, facing towards the south. This section right here. All right, so normally there's a tunnel here that runs underneath, and there's the entrance right there. They closed that tunnel for construction renovations years ago, and then they reopened it. Now, guess what? It's closed again because they're doing some kind of project here. They're basically reconstructing this area and all the way down there. They're going to build some kind of park. Not sure what it's going to look like. There's pictures of it, but you know, sometimes the pictures aren't accurate. But yeah, this here, you're able to go in usually, and it takes you right through to the metro station, which you can see from here, those stained glass windows. It's going to be Place de Montreal, so Montreal Place. The only problem is with this being closed, this underpass, this tunnel, guess what? There's no way to get over there to the other side unless you cross the street, which brings me to my next point. How you cross the street? You got to go all the way down here, which, look at this, it's a pain. So the only other option is to stay here, and which we're going to actually do. We're going to walk back west. I just realized it's easier this way. There's the 129 route, which goes to Côte St. Catherine Metro. We basically around Mount Royal and right to Côte St. Catherine. All right, so yeah, you're gonna see here. There's another pathway to get there. But look at this. I don't know what's going on here. They're putting some kind of structure up or something. There's the downtown core, which you could see from here, facing west. You know what? We can't even get through here. Usually there's a pathway here. That's even closed. Well, you know what that means? We're actually going to wrap this video up at Place d'Armes Metro Station, because there's no way to get to Champ de Mars unless we go all the way back there, which I don't feel like doing. Which means we did a whole circle during this walk. Nothing wrong with that. So yeah, it'll probably be another 5 minutes of walking anyway. So, and the distance between Place d'Armes and Champ de Mars is not really that far. Or maybe this was the path I was thinking of right here. Hotel de Ville Street. So you know what? We will go right to Champ-de-Mars Metro, which is right there. We just got to cross at a different place, which is right here. This, by the way, this wall you're looking at with this lighting display, that's, well, look at that, there's metros. If you like the metro, you like transit, there you go. Yeah, this is basically light show of Montreal's history. You go up there, there's City Hall. So we're gonna cross here. This is exactly what I was thinking of. The path isn't there, it's here. At least a detour. Now you're gonna say Champ-de-Mars. So we'll cross here, wait for this light, and then I'll resume recording. Yeah, it's definitely getting a bit colder now. And this place is not organized at all. Like I said, it's frustrating because of the fact that they just closed that tunnel for renovations. And what are they doing? They're gutting it again? I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe they're going to leave the tunnel alone. We're actually going to see a picture I was talking about soon of the rendering of what this place is going to look like once it's completed. That's the courthouse, by the way, the one we passed earlier, the municipal courthouse, one of the buildings. Yeah, this it's not exactly looking like it's organized, but yeah, there you go. This is what it's going to look like right here. I'll put the flash on. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, that's I don't know. Definitely interesting to see. Wow, okay. Well, we'll see what it looks like when it's finished. But for now, we have no choice but to take this way. Yeah, and there's the Palais de Congrès, and Place d'Arts Metro station is right underneath it. And this here is the Highway 10, the Ville-Marie Expressway. And that down there is a tunnel where it goes right underneath the city, more or less. I'll give you guys a quick view of it. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, well, here it is. Big highway here. And there's a tunnel in the distance facing west. The Ville-Marie Tunnel, it's called. Same name as the expressway. Alright, so we're slowly making our way here to the metro station entrance. There's a hospital, a French hospital, CHUM. Here's Chinatown, by the way. This is all Chinatown right here. Also here. Okay, we're going to turn right here. And we're going to wrap her up. So I said it would be about a 45-minute video, and it looks like it is because we're 43 minutes in. I'll take us to the platform because, well, why not? Or at least the level above the platform. I'll get us through the turnstiles. And yeah, at least get a view of that platform. And then yours truly is probably gonna go in for the night, get some rest. Probably got 10,000 steps by now, easily. Some kind of ventilation shaft. I don't think this is for the metro. I think it's for the tunnel that I was mentioning earlier. Or maybe not even. It could be some supply room. Or actually, it could be for the highway under here. I think there's a little section of tunnel that's here. And then finally it goes back above ground down here. There's even talk where I just showed you the highway. There's talk of filling it all in above ground. So you won't be able to see the highway at all from above. And I guess they'll put grass or something. Oh, getting tired. Alright, so here we are, Champ-de-Mars Metro. So, solid 45-minute video. I'm definitely satisfied, happy about that. It's always good to have a nice long walking video. It's good for content, good for my viewers to enjoy. Here's some more renderings, what it's going to look like. Yeah, so Champ-de-Mars. So again, this is the orange line of the Montreal Metro. And I guess down here it goes to the hospital. I've never been through there actually. Similar to Vendôme, where it connects to the hospital there. Or hospitals. Alright, so here we are. And they got the older card readers here. And we're going to be going this way to get back to, I guess you could say, the base, the home base. Give you a little bonus. If you don't watch my transit videos, my metro videos, well, there's a metro train here coming. That's ours. Alright, have a good night everybody. Thanks for watching, and as always, more videos to come.